Good afternoon, Oak Grove. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the return of the Midweek check-in series, which I paused during the Lenten season, where I just pop into your smartphone feeds in the middle of the week just to say hello and check in with you all and keep the church on our consciousness for the other 6.5 days of the week that we're not in worship, because it's so important to do that and maintain our connection to God's people and God's family and God's covenant community and all of that good stuff. So thank you for joining me for a few minutes today. So first of all, apologies for the fact that I didn't really announce the fact that the midweek check-ins were going to stop during Lent. I guess I kind of assumed that was a given, that people would know that because we were going to do the Lenten midweek services and upload those in the middle of the week. But a couple people approached me and said, no, we didn't assume that was going to be the case. So, okay, mea culpa. I should have, in the last one that I posted right before Lent began, which I believe the theme of the day was donuts there for Fat Tuesday. I should have said that we weren't going to do the videos throughout Lent. So apologies for that. That is my bad. I kind of figured that once we uploaded the midweek videos that were from the Lenten midweek worship service, that was enough of my grinning face for you each week. But it is good to know that there were apparently those that wanted even more. So apologies for that. What am I going to talk to you about today? I really don't know. I racked my brain trying to decide what I was going to talk to you about today. And I don't have one overriding thing that's on my mind. Right now, I'm just kind of mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and to a degree even physically, decompressing a little bit after the Lenten season, I appreciate those that have checked in and encourage the pastor to make sure he's taking care of himself, or in other congregations herself, at this time of year. And yes, you're right, it is a challenging season for pastors. There's a lot of extra work at this time of year. But it is work that we were called to do. It is work that we enjoy doing, or we wouldn't have agreed to do it. It's work that we don't mind doing. And so don't feel too sorry for me, but I certainly will say, yeah, it was a busy season. There were some other things that hit during Lent that the timing could have been better, such as the fact that we have been conducting our search for our new church secretary, and we have news to announce about that shortly once we decide that the time is right to announce that. But I've been hard at work looking at resumes and interviewing candidates and making progress on that. There's a couple other projects that have come and gone during that period. And so, yeah, it was a busy time, but busy is not bad. Busy can be a very good thing because it keeps me out of trouble if I'm busy. And it keeps the experiences of life in God's house going when we're busy. But, I'm just kind of reflecting on the overall season of Lent and the fact that, if we approach Lent the way we should, it's an emotional roller coaster. It is a mental ride all the way from, the beginning of the solemnity of Ash Wednesday, and then, throughout the Lenten season, we should be taking time to kind of create a little atmosphere of slight discomfort for ourselves as we engage in our penance and our prayer and our mental discipline. And you might have noticed that as we used LBW setting 2 in worship throughout Lent, Pastor Bill and I both very intentionally picked a really somber psalm tone for the Lenten season. We know it was really, really sad sounding. That's the point. It was Lent. But there are so many blessings to be found in the Lenten season as well. I enjoyed the midweek soup suppers enormously, not only because the soup was really good, but it just was refreshing to have fellowship with you, sisters and brothers of Oak Grove, in the middle of the week. I looked forward to it very much. Holy Week comes, and yes, it's a grind, but it is also a very cathartic emotional roller coaster. I would so strongly encourage you, sisters and brothers. I know folks work and they have full schedules, but in future years, I would encourage you so much to try to take time to attend all of the Holy Week services if you can. Maundy Thursday and Good Friday and Easter Vigil Saturday. I know it's a lot of church. Believe me, I know it's a lot of church. But it's an emotional roller coaster that makes the joy of Easter morning all that much more triumphant and celebratory when it finally arrives. Easter Sunday just feels so much more like Easter Sunday once we've taken time to appreciate Maundy Thursday and Good Friday setting the stage for those things. That is why the church has had its ancient practice of observing the Triduum since the earliest centuries of the church. I noted on Good Friday that my cassock appears to have shrunk since last year. I don't know how that keeps happening. They really need to engineer those things so that it stops happening. A couple of my colleagues commiserated about the same thing. Our cassocks seem to keep shrinking from year to year. How does that happen? But it's still fit for this year at least. We'll see what happens next year. And of course, as the Lent and Midweek dinners are going on and as Holy Week services are going on, of course, for those of us that are sometimes prone to a little bit of anxiety, there's the worry about, is everything going to get done? Are we going to get everything done? Is the soup going to get made? Are all of the elements going to be set out for each of these services? Am I going to have enough readers and assistants for everything? And then you get struck on the forehead with, oh, wait a minute. Trust your people. Trust your people. They've got it. They've got it. And sure enough, every night that we had something going on throughout Lent, they had it. And in a special hat tip particularly, I know she does not require one, and I don't mean to embarrass her, but I would literally be dead without Patty Scheck. Pastor Natalie, when I was talking to her for advice before coming to Oak Grove, she told me, just remember, Patty Scheck is always right about everything. And sure enough, I have not seen one bit of evidence to the contrary for that. Patty was so instrumental in helping to plan the Holy Week services and make sure that we had enough hands for everything that needed done. And I know she does not require credit, and I'm not trying to embarrass her. She probably doesn't want the credit, but I think I would literally be dead at Oak Grove without her. And so many other folks, Jim as well, Bill and Sharon, so many folks. Pastor Bill and Chesa doing extra services, and just so many hands, everybody who helped make soup. So many people work to make Lent possible, and they all deserve credit and recognition. And I wish I had a list of names to read off. I should have probably kept one. Maybe for future years I should. But I say to myself when anxiety starts to roll in, oh, are we going to have a way to anchor the cross up front? Ooh, are we going to have the bonfire out back? Just trust your people. Trust that they've got it. They've got it. And then Easter morning comes, and I step out of the sacristy half asleep because we already did sunrise service at Unionville. And you know me by now that I'm really not a morning person. So that is a rough that is a rough start to the day for me for my alarm to go off at 4:30. But it was worth it, though, because our sisters and brothers at Unionville had a wonderful sunrise service. And it is heartwarming to see people turn out for that. And I'm glad that we provided it for them, even though Pastor Steve's not a super morning person. He's happy to go help officiate at that if people get something out of it. And then I get here, and I step out of the sacristy, and I expected attendance to be good on Easter Sunday morning, but I was completely blown away that for the first time since I've been here, this room was wall-to-wall, standing room only, not a single seat empty in the house. And I had to stifle the desire to cry at that point. I was so happy to see it so full here. A couple people said to me afterward, wouldn't it be nice if it were like this every week? Well, it sure would. But I also understand that, it's not like that every week. But most of those folks that were here, they are here as often as they can be. And so we appreciate their best efforts to be here as often as they can be. And we know that they are faithful members of our family, and that they come out to worship as often as they can, but life happens. But for at least one day to see the church that full, was it nice? Oh yeah, it was wonderful. And we had a baptism, and there was just so much new life here this morning. Most of the flowers here are gone, but the building just had that overpowering Easter Sunday morning scent of all the fresh flowers as soon as you walk in the door. And it was a day that was full of life. And after Easter Sunday was over, after worship was over, Julie and I packed up and drove to my parents for an afternoon of fellowship and stayed for supper there. And by the way, for the record, after I joked in my sermon about ham, guess what we had at my mother's house for supper that night? Yeah. So Easter is now over, and what comes next? Well, there's plenty to look forward to. There is plenty to come. We will be hosting the synod here in our social hall. Not that that affects you folks that much, but we're going to be hosting our synod for their monthly synod council meeting downstairs in Oak Grove Social Hall not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday. And so I look forward to doing that for them as a favor to them. Confirmation is coming up on May 18th. So first of all, before that, Julie and I will be out of town on vacation the week of May 5th through the 11th. The following Sunday on May 18th, confirmation will be coming up. Our class of 5 that we have been instructing for the last year and a half, they will be getting confirmed, and Bishop Cussero will be here to confirm them himself, among the last few people that he confirms before he retires, since he is stepping down this summer. So we look forward to that day very much. At the end of May, we have my first wedding that I will have done here at Oak Grove. Not the first wedding I've done, period, but the first wedding here at Oak Grove. We've got a wedding coming up the last Saturday of May, so stay tuned for details about that. We're excited about that. And then the very next day, Sunday, June 1st, we are scheduled, weather permitting, to be outside to resume outdoor worship for the summertime. Then we've got a covered dish coming after that. Before you know it, it's going to be time to start making plans for Vacation Bible School. So lots of life in God's house and God's family to look forward to. And so it is not just one day of Easter, but it is a season of Easter. Easter is a season in the church. And we look forward to all of the ways. Oh, and how can I possibly forget the community garden will be opening up within the next couple of weeks. It'll be time to start planting. There is new life springing all around us right now, sisters and brothers. I went out for a half-hour walk this afternoon to enjoy the sun. Got a little sunburned, that's okay. I'm very fair-skinned, but it was worth it. Lots of new life springing around us, lots of light and hope in our lives and things to look forward to if we only open our eyes to see the good things God is doing in our midst. I have been talking for 12 minutes. I'm going to can it in right now. I will see you all at worship this Sunday. Take care, Oak Grove. Thank you, and God bless.